right out of Central Casting, from Sopranos. And he's gambling. Give me another five. Give me another five. Then it was like 4 a.m. He goes, give me my last. Give me his last $5,000. And I'm like, dude, I gotta get home, man. It's fucking going to 5 o'clock in the morning.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got this machine man, Paul.
But the main 5 guys that sat and had meetings, we always discussed stuff. We wouldn't like move in on them.
You'd work with each other, basically.
We'd work. Like I said, that's where like kind of the mobbish mentality came from. It wasn't pricking your finger or burning the saint, but we didn't step on their, well, Sonny eventually stepped on their toes, but we tried not to step on each other's toes because we would need favors occasionally. And they knew we had Phil on our side. And they had some people too, but they always shared people and shared information. So when I would go to be introduced to a gun, when I would go to see Phil, he'd say, "Hey, T. Appleschmidt is coming up, well, here's $500 or whatever." So there's one particular day, there's this big, it was a shoebox on the table. And we're talking and, Phil saying, and I've been there. It was like him and Sonny basically recruited me, into this business, talk to me. I'll get you in the police down the road and all. And he's talking about T. Appleschmidt, so what's going on. Then he says, now I want to talk something different between me and you. I'm like, okay, Phil, whatever. I looked up to this man. He was like a second father to me. Like I said, my kids called him Uncle Phil to the day he died. I mean, very powerful man in Baltimore. And he says, I'll tell you about Sonny. I'm in there like 4 or 5 months at this point. He goes, you got to watch your back. He likes to get shit on everybody. He likes to have, and I was kind of getting at, he'd like to, if he can get something on you, he would hold it over your thumb. He'd like to have stuff on people. And I said, oh, I get it. Okay. So he slides me the shoebox. And I'm like thinking, he had like size 12 shoe. I'm like, why is he still giving me a shoebox? He goes, this is for you. I'm like, Phil, I wear like size 10 and a half. I'm making a joke. What the fuck? I wear 10 and a half. We're size 15, He goes, no. Open the box. Open it up. It's a 22 revolver with an ankle holster. I'm looking at it. I said, what's this for? He said, just in case. I'm thinking, like, okay. I'm thinking like, just in case. Here's this guy's a fucking judge. He's giving me a gun.
Yeah, just in case what? I got to kill this guy?
Just in case, after he told me to watch my back, I'm thinking like, oh, this is fucking great. And I said, okay. So I'm on the way out the door and he stops me. He says, hey, tell Sonny thanks. And I'll get back to him. And hey, you didn't get that from me. You didn't get that from me. And I totally forgot about that gun he gave me for years and years and years and years. And when I started writing a book, I even forgot about it. And then when I was writing this television series, a screenplay I've been working on, I found this fucking gun and it's buried in this box. And I'm thinking like, I still have this thing. I'm thinking, get rid of this thing. It was like an old 22 for like 1950 or something. I think he carried it when he was younger. So then I got to the kind of, I picked up a 38. I started carrying a 38 after that. And I picked up a Mossberg shotgun. I started carrying that. And I'm glad I did because we had some other problems down the road with some Italians that I had needed that for. So it kind of worked out, but didn't work out. But that was kind of the shit he was slowly getting him into. It was like I was being groomed and I was becoming this person that I wasn't. Here my goals were to be a Fed. And then now I'm like doing, I'm involved in racketeering, money laundering. I'm paying.
You're on the other end of the spectrum.
The other end of the spectrum. I'm giving people, my first taste of giving. They called it payoff, bribe, whatever it was. These guys would call it campaign donations. Hey, if they slept good at night calling it that was great. I know what it was. If I give somebody money in an envelope and we're in a back room somewhere and they're looking around, it ain't no fucking campaign donation. They can call it what they want. So there was a lot of that going on. And kind of my mother said years later when I was in there, she's like, you're too young to be this cynical, to know about this stuff. And she reminded me when I was a kid growing up, and we lived in like kind of a lower middle class neighborhood. It was mixed. It was mixed We had it was like some had government housing and all. It was kind of a mixed area where I lived in Baltimore. And my mother, some kids will come to the door looking to play, and sometimes my mother, if she didn't like him, oh, he's in the shower, he's sick, he can't come out and all. And my mother would tell me as an adult, she's like, when those kids, certain kids would come to the door, and I'd said you were busy, I didn't want you playing with those kids because I knew they were bad kids. And she says that when you're an adult with these running around with these guys, she goes, they weren't good people. They were the kids that I didn't let you play with. And
Yeah.
now I'm playing with these kids, and that's kind of the irony of life. It's just how I got involved in this stuff. And
During your time, right? During your time hanging out with these people, did you ever think to yourself, damn, I'm getting in too deep with these people?
I, at first I'm thinking like it was like playing with cops and robbers because we're always like, we're very secretive. We my wife had good friends who were like Baltimore County police. Her girlfriend was a sergeant and her husband was a lieutenant. And here, when we hung out, we didn't have much to talk about. I mean, what do you do? Oh, I just kind of, all I would say was I run the cigarette route. That's, that's all I said.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's kind of a cheesy job. Oh yeah. Well, how do you have a nice car and this and that? Well, I work hard, you know? So it's like and even around the family, which, I'm in their family. But even when I started getting bad inklings, like I wanted to get out, Sonny would always do something for me. Um, like the first raid after I saw Phil, like he wants to set people up. Sonny's like, we're going out to dinner. And we had to go out and hang it. Part of it was my wife tolerated so much stuff and she's still with me. Because she didn't know a lot of the shit I was getting involved with, and I kept it that way. And part of the job was to go to bars and hang out because we had to try to get accounts. You go
Yeah.
and spend money, and then the accounts we had, we want to keep them. So we go in there, buy drinks for people, spend a couple $1,000, not
You're
all the
being
time.
friendly with people
Yeah,
and get to know them.
and we'd walk in there, and it was kind of like a high because this was the other part of it. It was the money. I started making 35 a year initially. Then when I was collecting, I was making another 2 grand a month. And then when I did other things, I would get money for certain things that I was doing. If I had to hand somebody a package or do something like that, um, I would get extra money for certain things if I took care of something. But that was the high, the money. The other thing was like when we would walk in these bars, some of our clubs, we had nightclubs, and we had little bars that make like $700 a week, but then we had nightclubs we're making like 10,000 a week. So there's like a different. Every place wasn't a home run, but if
Yeah.
we had a little bar where we had one machine and made $700 a week, we never got a call there. We just go collect the money. It
Yeah.
was usually the nightclubs where we had 10,000 a week. We had a lot of fucking problems. I mean, I was there all the time. But we'd walk in these bars, this nightclub we had, and it would be packed. And we walk in there, and the bartenders tell these guys, "Get the fuck up, get the fuck up, get the fuck up." I'm like 23 at the time, and these big guys are like getting up. Who the fuck are these guys? Because we walk over and get in their seats. Now, mind you, like I said, Sonny's 20 years older than me, and we
Yeah.
sit down, and all, who the fuck are these guys? Like they're like hovering over us. They're machine men. Oh, hey, cool, it's cool, dude. They're like afraid of us. Plus, I had a gun, so I guess it
Yeah,
would
but
have been.
they probably didn't know your affiliation, you know?
Well, they knew the machine man. We had the poker machine, so they knew. Maybe they were thinking the attack. We never came off as being mafia. We weren't mafia. You know, all of us guys were connected. It was all organized, and we controlled who we paid off to keep things legal that way. And we communicated with each other. We weren't out shooting
Close
people dead.
enough.
Well, yeah, we weren't out shooting people dead in the streets.
Yeah.
But I did have a few instances where I did have to pull out a gun. Uh, thank God I didn't have to use it, but I got put in some situations like that. You want to hear one of the stories with some
Yeah, can
Italian?
you walk me through one?
Yeah, this is like one of the this is like get this story here is two stories real quick that him and his partner split up, and I almost got out. Now, one other time I almost got out. Him and Phil like we're paying for your whole wedding. They paid for my whole freak. I'm like, I'm done. I'm getting the fuck out. Because me and my wife were engaged when I started working. They paid for the wedding, the hall. Phil goes, I'm paying for the hall, the caterer. And Sonny's like, I'm paying for the band. I'm taking you on a trip to Las Brisas. I'm like, what the fuck is Las Brisas? At the time, it was like lifestyles of the rich and famous. It was like top 10. So these, whenever I wanted to get out or thought about it, or they would like give me some, if it
It would
wasn't
like
money,
woo you.
it
Yeah.
wasn't money. Yeah, it wasn't money. It was a perk, or meeting these politicians, shaking their hands. So there's one particular night where, let me go back real quick. The first thing that happened was I get a call in the middle of the night. We had this one account. It was a place we're hanging at. It was Stumpy's. It was a nightclub. We're making 10 grand a week there. And this guy was fucking up bad and big on drugs and all. And he always wore shorts, a Hawaiian shirt, and his hair was in the middle. I don't give it, flip flops, 10 degrees outside. He's always dressed the same way. But we are making a lot of money there. So when he shut his main bar down at night, he had a back bar, a separate back bar. It was as big as my bar I had. It was like 2,000 square feet. That was his back bar in the back. And he would run that after hours.
Yeah.
The bar shut down. He ran it after hours, had a separate entrance in the back. And he had all the bookmakers in there, drug dealers. He had prostitutes in there. I mean, giving guys blowjobs and we're playing the machines and all. I mean, it was all hooked up. Only guy had my home phone number because, like I said, there was no cell phones. I get a call. I got to go get over here, Paul. I got a dump. I need a dump. It was like 4 a.m. And a dump means he's out of money. We had 3 poker machines back there, and these guys are lined up. They're feeding these things, cash and checks. He went through all his money.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to go over there. He needs more money. These guys want to keep playing. They're all fucked up. They're high. Or just put the money in the buckets. I mean, that's how fucked up they were. So I get over there, and as soon as I pull up, it's a steel door in the back. I hear the bum, ba bum, ba bum, this music bumping. And I'm thinking, like, what the fuck? I pull the door and it's open. I'm like, it's fucking 4:30 in the morning. Fucking door's what? I pull the door open. He said, "Hey, Paulie, hey, good to see you." He's fucking high as a kite. I said, "Dude, man, the door's wide open. What the fuck?" "Oh, I knew you were coming." I said, "You didn't know I was coming now." So I locked the door. They're all fucked up. This girl's giving this guy head. I'm like trying to move him out of the way. He lays some coke on the bar to go over there. So I'm dumping these machines, putting all the money in the buckets in the bag, and we go in his office. And I think I counted like $6,000 or something. So I count it all out. He signs a receipt that he got it. So when we settle up, we work that out. But it's to keep these cats there because they went through all his money. By cat,
Yeah.
he had check, just casting checks. So it was to keep these guys there. So I had words with him about the back door being open, this and that. Don't fucking, don't fucking do that, man. Because we loaned this guy 110 grand to get in this spot. We're making our money back pretty quick on the note, but he could lose it pretty quick. They come in here as prostitutes and drugs.
Yeah.
So I warned them, okay, whatever. It happened again. I went over again. It happened again. And I got mad. I pushed him against the wall. I kind of grabbed him, shoved him against the wall. And it wasn't like a dry wall. It was like a paperboard, particle board wall. His head, and you could see his head and shoulders. And I hit him I stunned him. And Sonny called this guy stutter fuck. I mean, he stuttered all the time. And at first, when I met the guy, I felt bad because I had a speech impediment when I was younger. But it wasn't because of that. It was because he did so much coke. I mean, he was just fucked. He was just fucked up all the time.
Yeah.
But we're making a ton of money off this guy. And then Sonny's like, I'm putting you in there. I'm putting you in there with him. Like to correct this. I said, I'm not going in there with him. This guy.
You got to sit through the shift. I
said, he wants me to run it with him. I said, I'm not getting involved. Here I'm thinking, like, I know I'm not a cop, but this guy, I'm not getting busted with prostitutes and drugs in here. I can say, hey, dude, I'm just a machine man. I have nothing to do with this. But I can't say, I can't have an out if I'm an owner, part owner of this business. So Sonny's mad, like, we got to figure this out. Well, like 3 weeks later, this guy named Paul Monk, who was a local guy. We met him, sells insurance, clean cut, always wear, jacket. Think, okay, Paul had a good idea because we're making so much money this joint here. There's a place down the street that was for sale and about a mile away. And he's like, we can do the same thing down there. Like these guys are waiting to play. We can hustle a few down there after hours and have both joints. Like I said, Paul had some money. All right, if we think this guy could babysit him, maybe we'll work out. Maybe it saves my ass. I don't have to go over there and babysit this guy. So a couple months going smooth. We got both joints working and all. Then we get word that Paul Monk's a big coke dealer. I'm like, oh fuck. So Sonny's like, man, you gotta go straighten that out. I'm like, why the fuck?
Because you can't have them selling drugs.
No.
Bar, right?
And I'm thinking too, like everything was like, now I got to straighten it out. I'm like, what the fuck you want me to do? We know they're keeping the guys in there with the girls, the prostitutes, and there's drugs and all. So he goes, figure it out. So I go over there, I pull Paul aside and said, look, man, I know it's, at first he denies. I said, look, man, I know what you got. We know what's going on over here. He goes, we're keeping the people with the drugs and this and that and here. I said, I know, but I don't want to know. I said, look, just, basically what I said was kind of crazy. Just limit the amount of drugs you keep in this bar. That was kind of my answer, because what am I supposed to say? Because all these cats are playing all night, feeding these machines all their money.
Take the
Because
drugs away, they're gonna stop.
and the girls are going to stop,
Yeah.
So, okay. A month later, I get another call, like 3:00 in the morning. It was Richie. Paul got hit. Paul got killed. I'm like, what? He goes, bring your shit, get over. You got to get over here. Paul got murdered. I was like, oh fuck. So I get my 38, my shotgun. I head over there, and he got whacked leaving the other place. Got shot in the back of the head. Somebody rolled him over, hit him twice in the chest. It was a hit. I pull up. Cops, who are you? Another time I talk. Who are you? And I, like, want to frisk me. I'm like, whoa. I just pulled up, dude. Like, thank God I left the gun in the car, because I never permitted at that time to carry it. I said, look, they just called. And Richie goes, I just called him up, woke him up, came over, friends and all. And we didn't know what was going on, because we didn't know, because Sonny started stepping on people's toes at that point, the other main operators. We didn't know if somebody was trying to send us a message, him a message. We didn't know. But to this date, this murder never got solved. And this guy never got solved. It's still out there. So that was the one thing. So time goes by. 6 months later, we're hanging this joint. This is the deal with the Italians. If we have time. We're at that club, Rich's Club. 6 months go by. People tend to forget things. I didn't forget it. I was still sleeping with my 38 on my pillow. I mean, I still have a 38 on my nightstand.
But you still are operating the same bar. It's the same place.
This is just one of the joints of the 50 some we have.
Yeah.
But this guy's always having problems. Like I said, most of the places we didn't have any problems.
No, the place where the guy got killed, you guys are still operating that place too?
We still had that place. After he got killed, we still had that place. But we're slowly trying to get rid of it,
Yeah.
We had a guy running it, but we knew we were going to get out of there because of the bad stigma in the parking lot. So we're at the nightclub, and Sonny gets word. He was a gambler. Hey, there's a place over the road I want to go to. He goes, get in the car. This is like the last time I got in the car with him, because you get in the car with him, you don't know what you're getting into. So we go over this place off Harvard Road. It's a gas station. I'm like, why are we pulling this gas station? And there's like Mercedes there, Range Rovers, and it's a stinking garage. I'm thinking, this guy must do good work, because these expensive cars here. He's like, no, we're going upstairs. There's a second floor. There's these metal steps went up the second floor, and I see this guy walking up, going in there. He goes, we're going up there. So, okay, whatever, we're going up there. Before he left, he gave me 25 grand. I got 25 grand stacked in my coat, We go in there, and this guy answers the door. What do you want? He's got a gun with a holster, shoulder, holster here. Like, what the fuck is he getting me into? He's like, what do you want? We're like rolling. This guy named Roland was running this game. We go in this over top this garage. It's probably like 1,500 square feet, but it's like a little mini Vegas. Roulette, backgammon. I mean, slot machines, girls walking around with drinks over this fucking dirty ass garage. It was like a little Vegas up there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And so he starts gambling, and these two big Italian guys walking around, with the gold, right out of Central Casting, from Sopranos. And he's gambling. Give me another five. Then it was like 4 a.m. He goes, give me my last. Give me his last $5,000. And I'm like, dude, I gotta get home, man. It's fucking going to 5:00 in the morning. I said, my wife's, she ain't gonna tolerate this. She's like, oh man, you're with me, brother. Everything's cool. That shit started to wear on my wife pretty quick. Me coming in, you're married, coming in, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That shit ain't gonna wear it too well.
No.
So I get a ride back to my car. I get home. My wife gives she gives me some grief. And I try to lay my head down by 5:30, 6 o'clock. The phone rings an hour later. It's Sonny. Oh man, I'm still over here, man. You gotta go run my route. I'm like, oh fuck. All right. So I get up, I go run his route. He calls me. The office calls me and says, hey, I can't get a hold of Sonny, Janice. I said, why? These two guys are calling here. They're looking for him. I'm like, why are you? They got accents. I'm like, what the fuck's calling the shop? So Sonny gets me on the radio, says, come meet me over at the Belloc Diner, where we used to go meet for breakfast. So I go over there. He's fucked. He's fucked up. I mean, he's the same clothes, hanging, hasn't touched his food, smoking cigarettes. I get in there. What's up, man? He goes, oh man, I fucked up last night. I lost 30 grand. I said, no shit. I was carrying 25 up for you.